Another day, another Lexus LS430 problem. So the LS430 had something special for its audio system. It had what was called a Mark Levinson amplifier, like a lot of different Lexus models. And this is basically standard on the navigation units. It just came with the Mark Levinson audio. So basically it's a bunch of speakers, an amplifier, fancy amplifier, and 9 times out of 10, this amplifier goes bad internally, you have no audio, and you replace it and get audio. Well, this one has a problem, and I've tried 2 known good amplifiers, and we still have no audio. So we're going to go through the process, try to hopefully figure it out, because at this point I don't know what the problem is. But we're going to do a deep dive, spy style, into the wiring diagrams, how to diagnose, and hopefully we're going to figure this out together in real time and determine what is going on here. Why is there no audio? So let's begin. I was able to get the audio working. However, we have no volume control. Can't control volume. If we go to sound, there's nothing here. You can't control this. So what is the problem? I don't know. There are fuses everywhere. So passenger side here, you'll see a fuse called radio number 1, upper right corner. And a lot of times that one's hidden under this plastic piece. Like this plastic piece will fall below the fuses on that top row, and it'll sometimes hide it. So let me take this top one out and then I'll show you what's going on. If we take that fuse out, we have no navigation. So that kills the power for this, all of it. So let's put it back in. So fuse back in. It's really weird that the audio is working right now because it didn't before. It was just blank. So it's weird that we have audio. But let me show you something else. If you go to Option, Display, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at that. It takes you to a cool menu. System check mode. So this is going to check the communication between all these systems. And I'm betting it's going to say DSP amp is no communication like it did last time. So this takes a minute. I'll come back when it's done. There's other things in here. I'll show you what you can do with this, but one step at a time. All right, so we're back, and again, it says no communication or no con with DSP amp. So that means the data lines and the communication lines are good between all of this, but it's not talking to the amplifier. So we'll keep that in mind and try to figure out why that says that. If you go here, menu, you can do other things like display check, colors, vehicle signal, stuff like that. A lot of just diagnostic related things. Navigation, so microphone, again, same thing, GPS, vehicle sensors. Just a lot of things that really, don't really do you much good. Camera check, basically just, checks the camera, backup camera. Bluetooth voice quality set, so I guess you can adjust that. But really, what we're concerned with, and the only way to get out of this is just to shut the car off, turn it back on, and then you're back to normal. So initially, we had a loud pop in the speakers when you turn the car on. But now, like I said, we have audio, but no volume, and also no ability to adjust any of this. So we know the amp is working because we have audio, which is weird. I don't know how I got it working, but now it works. So we know this fuse is good. Let's take a look back here and I can show you these wiring diagrams. So this is the amplifier. So if you look here, this is the luggage room junction block. If I can get this light correct. Here's the luggage room junction block. Now, it says amp P seat fuse. And then we have RRAC and then RRECUB. So all 3 of these fuses have to do with the amplifier. So really what you should be doing is checking these fuses to make sure they're good. And there's one, the 30 ampere, the amp one is the one that usually blows. It's this second one here, upper right corner. That's the one that usually blows. So if you replace that and then it blows, your amplifier is bad no matter what. So I verified all the fuses. They're all good here, which means the amp is getting power. But the other weird thing is, if we take out, like let's say we take out this 30 ampere, if this is not going to work, nope. If we take it out, put it back in, the amp basically reboots. So the fan up here will actually start to spin, but then it'll stop, like basically just shut down. So that's kind of where we're stuck. Now on this sheet we have the radio. So here, if you remember, radio 1 fuse, that's the one we took out, and that took out the whole navigation. There's also 2 other fuses, the PACC fuse and the telephone fuse. Those are all related to the stereo navigation head unit. So those are all good. I checked all those. Here's just another sheet of the amplifier. So it shows you what we just looked at, the luggage room junction block ECU here, those 3 fuses that we checked. And then on the right here is the amplifier, stereo component, amplifier assembly. So what we should do is verify we have battery power and then accessory power on the amplifier at these locations. And if we don't, there's an issue between here and here, likely. So we need to find connector S30, pin 1, pin 10. They should both be, L is actually blue. So you're looking for blue with a red stripe wire on both of these wires. And those should be 12 volts, always hot from the battery. And then this RRAC, when you turn on the accessory, this one gets power. So connector 29, the gray, GR is gray, I think. Yes, because G is green. And that one should have 12 volts. And then we should obviously have a ground and earth here. If we have all that, we're still no closer to finding our problem on why we have audio with no volume control and no balance, or we don't have audio at all. So very strange. So here we have battery voltage, 12.87. Here's our ground. Here's our blue with red stripe right there. You can see it. And then here's our second one right here next to it or under it. And that one also has 12.87. So we know the amplifier has battery voltage here. We gotta move on to the gray one, number 12. Gray wire right there, different connector, number 12. That is that third one, 12.15. So we have accessory voltage. So we have 3 voltages right now. Now we need to check our grounds. So S30, white, black, which is back on this original connector here. You can see them right here. We just want to verify these 2 are actually good to a good ground. And then that will verify we have full power and correct grounds at the amplifier. Now we're on the ohm setting right there, and you can see that little speaker or sound icon on the left. We're just using this bracket as a ground, and we're taking the other end and we're going right into the black or the white black, and you can hear we have ground and ground. So where does that leave us at this point? Now remember this screen, we have OKs. The only thing that's bad is the DSP amp. Now if we go to the LAN monitor, look at all these checks and no com or no con. If you click on this, it gives you these subcodes and codes. So if we go to radio, like we have all these codes. This one we can't connect to, so it's not going to show us anything. But we have these LAN codes, and it's weird that we have check problems here, but if we go here, everything is checking okay. So let's go to a working LS430. So here's a working LS430. Navi, the drive is actually bad on this one, so that's probably why that's here. But if we look at LAN monitor, look at this. We have no errors now on these. And if we click that, we can't get in there because there's no errors. This just has, I don't know if this is because of the GROM, the V-line, or other things, but obviously you can hear the beeping, so the amplifier works in this car. So I think the problem is somewhere in the communication network, which makes me think head unit. Could it be the head unit? I've never seen a head unit go bad, but I haven't been working on these that long. What do you think? Is it the head unit? Head unit replaced. We still have no audio. This is, nothing's here. Are you stumped yet? Because I am. That means there has to be a problem between the stereo and the amplifier, or something with the communication network. Because we have a new amp, new stereo, all fuses are good. There's a communication issue here somewhere. Well, everybody, if it quacks like a duck, it's usually a duck. So I saw this harness back here, and I wondered why it looked like this. And it was all full of tape. Somebody has been in here before. And if you look, this blue wire right here is broken. I wish I would have just checked this first, but this is kind of one of my flaws. Like, I'll go through this huge path of possibilities and everything else when the answer is right in front of me, just dangling. Hello, here I am. So I cut off all this black tape, and this blue wire, which I believe is one of the communication wires, it wasn't even connected to the other blue wire. So I don't know what Lexus was doing in here, the techs or whoever was trying to diagnose this wiring, but they screwed it all up. So I want to reattach this blue wire, and then we'll see if this fixes the issue. Oh, God. Sometimes I can't.
Incredible success you've had, and we're thankful.
Good morning, everybody. So happy to report reattaching that blue wire fixed our problem. Imagine that. No communication, no controls. So this is all fixed. Everything is good to go on here. And I just want to recap kind of what Lexus thought, because Lexus did diagnose this vehicle, and they said basically the head unit or the navigation unit was bad. That was their diagnosis. And they told the customer parts are not available, there's nothing we can do. So that was kind of it. So what I think happened was the amp failed because the amp that came with the car was bad. That was actually bad, but in their process of diagnosis, they cut up the wiring harness at the amplifier, trying to do their tests, and then just determined the nav unit was bad, and they never replaced the amplifier. So two-pronged problem. Glad we got it solved, and here you can see everything is now marked as okay here. All communications are good. Land monitor, I don't know why this still says check here, and there's these weird codes. But in a working system, this is kind of what you're looking for if you want to compare to what I have here. Memory clear and these code clears, I don't know what they do because it doesn't do anything. So that's that. Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, like, subscribe, comment on the videos. I'd love to hear about your problems and try to help you. This is the one owner Lexus 146K. It is good to go. I'm betting by the time this video goes live, this car's already going to be sold. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and till next time, see ya.